All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, fellow Pandemonium travelers, this is Seattle Pandemonium Shutdown, day 298 by my count. It is December 31st, 2020, if you can believe it. I can't sometimes. I can't believe this whole year has happened. It's just strains credulity. Is that the fancy way of saying it? I just can't believe it sometimes. I look around and I'm like, God, is this really happening? Is this really happening? Apparently it is. And there are no brakes on this train, baby. So let's do this. It is the end of 2 decades of whatever the last 20 years has been. We're heading into the roaring 20s. Hopefully, we will just fire this thing back up. We're not going to be building back better. That ain't it. We're going to get businesses going again. People are going to start making money. We're going to have some major partying to make up for this year. Let's do this. Let's go over some basic stuff of the last 20 years. Now, let me try not to crash into anybody. So, I graduated from high school in the spring of 2001. The world was out. We were going to go out and take on the world. And a few short months later, 9/11 happens. Now, that actually was kind of like just the first tiny droplets in the shitstorm that would come to bury us all. And what I mean is, 2000, later that year, I believe we got going pretty fast. It was an Operation Anaconda. We got troops on the ground in Afghanistan hunting for bin Laden. You come to learn later that bin Laden might have been a CIA asset back during the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan, and we helped fund the creation of the Mujahideen, and then he went after us after the Soviets were defeated. Look, these things, there's a tangled web that's been woven. But then we end up in the Iraq War, 2003? See, I pretend to be anti-war, but I don't even remember when all these things actually... there's a lot of strands in old Duder's head. I lived it. I don't necessarily remember the exact dates. I did not join the military, though. I don't want to say that. I did not deploy anywhere. But I knew people who did, and I went to school with people later on that had, and they were kind of messed up. I know we killed a lot of people overseas in our, quest for global empire and alleged security from terrorists. Anyways, you had the Bush years, which was 2001 to 2009, I guess? No. 2009, is that right? No, because it was 2007 when I moved to Seattle, and that's when Obama got in. So I guess it was, yeah. Okay, anyways. Then you had your Obama years, and this is one of the issues with, this is when the NSA spying stuff came out, that under the Patriot Act, basically everything was being, or could be read by the feds, or listened to, or whatever. Then you had your WikiLeaks with your, so that was Edward Snowden stuff, and Bradley, Chelsea Manning, whatever. Then you had the collateral murder scandal, which was when we had a helicopter just light this, news crew up and kill a bunch of people for no reason, and then kind of tried to cover it up. And that's why Manning went to prison. That's why Snowden has to live in Russia. That's why Assange had to live in an embassy for the last 15 years or whatever. And then they finally took him into custody. God, how long ago was that when they took him out? Took him out, brought him out of that embassy and arrested him. Can't even remember now. And then in 2007, that's when I decided to stop partying. So I was living in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and basically just partying all the time and waiting tables. It was a lot like that movie Waiting. If you watch Waiting, I literally worked in a place that was just like that. It gave me chills. Now waiting tables is a decent gig if you're good at it. You can make plenty of cash. Winter months can be a little lean, but it also is a good connection to like a lot of party people, a lot of young people, attractive people, and it's fun. Now doing substances, let's say, can be fun to a certain point, and then it becomes not fun when people start getting arrested, start going to jail, start getting DUIs, people start getting robbed and mugged, and just bad things start happening. And the writing's on the wall. It's right there in front of you, and you just gotta see it and go, okay, I'm not gonna do this anymore. So I stopped, and I decided, like a lot of people, I fell for the bachelor's degree meme. Decided to move to Seattle, go to the Artist Institute of Seattle. I'll learn how to do 3D animation, and then next stop Hollywood or something, and then I'll make it. Well, that didn't really work out. I was about 6 months into school, I think. I think I was about 6 months into school, and then the '08 crash hit, and it was like, economic just chaos, and I ended up working at Starbucks, and we thought that was rough. I think we're heading into something more rough than that with the current crisis, but I worked at one of the busiest Starbucks in the world, really. Westlake Center Starbucks. It was right there on the metro lines and like light rail from the airport eventually. The dead center bullseye for Black Friday, Seafair Parade, Torchlight Parade, Pride Parade, every protest, every, festival. There's just tons of people around. I had a police escort at one point so that I could get our supplies into our store so we didn't run out of coffee on a Black Friday. Old Starbucks stories. Yada yada yada. Graduated from school. Found zero reception from creative, outfits in terms of hiring. Lived in poverty for several years. Was on the dole at some point. Various points. Got by with a little help from my friends. You guys know who you are. Then as a very failed artist, I then tried to pivot and just use my baseline, computer skills to get a job. Got a job working for Google, which was cool, in a mapping facility. It's actually out in Bothell, and oh boy, did a lot of people work there. There's a lot of people worked in that office. I drew Google Maps. We had like a satellite image, and then you would like draw the roads on top of it and draw the buildings. And at one point, I drew the pyramids. That was cool. That was like it's such a weird job to have, but it was, it's fun. Did that for a year. Then I bounced around some other contracts doing like voice testing with Samsung. A couple months of that. Then I ended up at Amazon doing like new seller vetting. And remember, the Iraq War and the Afghanistan War are going on this entire time, right? Like, it never stopped, right? And when I was in school, I went to school with people who probably shouldn't have been in school, but they got GI Bill or whatever, and they would have narcolepsy and severe anxiety issues, and they were not functional people, and it was just kind of not, I don't know, it's kind of not cool to kind of have done that to them. But anyways, what else? So then I ended up working at Amazon, did a couple contracts there. There was times where I was managing inventory, and this was like, issuing instructions to the fulfillment centers around the country. You'd look at like, there's like $50,000 worth of watches, and you don't know where they're supposed to go or who they belong to, so you like have to dig in the computer, find who has submitted $50,000 worth of watches to be sold in the last few days, and then like sort out what you're supposed to do with it. And then as soon as you do, then that inventory becomes available for sale. And you just do that all day long. Probably manage millions and millions of dollars worth of Amazon inventory. I ended up working on a hazardous materials team. That was interesting. You have to like look up products and like you have to look at products and find out their MSDS. That's a material safety data sheet, which is a list of basically the ingredients or components of what a product is, and by various regulations it gets classified, like if it has a certain amount of alcohol in it, right? Things like essential oils and things like that, they would have a little bit of alcohol, so you have to make sure that it's under a certain amount. Otherwise, it could explode or catch on fire or whatever. So that was kind of nerve-wracking job. In hindsight, I think about it and I'm like, oh my God, did we do our job right? And then the tech sector, of course, is the tech sector, at least here in Seattle, is a cesspool. It is, here's a 3-month contract, and then we might give you another 3-month contract later, and you just don't know. And then they can also just fire you without notice, which has also happened to me. So I have to be on time, do my job perfectly, but then not be granted the respect of being treated like an adult who, if they had just given me a square deal from the jump, I would probably still be working there, and I would be really good at whatever it is that I'm doing. But instead, it's just like, no, you're just disposable garbage. You're like, okay, well, I'm just gonna not be treated like this and go get a crappier job that doesn't get outsourced, doesn't get arbitrarily limited to a contract length, and doesn't just evaporate. And it can't be automated, which is what I do now. And ironically, the job I've been trying to also escape from for the last 5 years has, in the era of the Rona, has become a life raft, and I am perplexed. Sure, I would love a new, different job, but at the same time, right now, in all of this madness, it is just bizarre to be like, woof, well, I'm okay. I know everyone else's lives are ruined, but I guess I'm thankful for what I have wrought. That's just stuff that's happened to me over the last 20 years. Can't even imagine what all the rest of you have gone through. My girlfriend almost died 2 years ago. That wasn't cool at all. Stepdad almost died last year. That's not cool. Oh yeah, I'm taking you to the airport. No, we're not flying anywhere. Nothing fun like that. I'm kind of surprised there's this many people going there. Anyways, Seattle has decayed into a shithole country. It really has, guys. When I arrived in 2007, I'm telling you, I rode the bus from Lake City down on I-5 South, over the bridge, came up over the bridge. It was a sunny day. Beautiful day. It was a shining city on a hill. Now, there were still homeless, don't get me wrong. There's always been some homeless around, but not like it is now. Not like Gotham, not like dystopian sci-fi stories, not crazy, the craziness that it is now, the rot and the decay that it is now. Not the same thing. But we'll see. I'm not a prophet. I thought that Trump was going to win re-election. I was wrong. I was right the first time, though. Donald Trump becoming president, that one pulled the rug out from underneath a whole bunch of people. Not me, though. I was like, yeah, I told you this was going to happen. And then all my same indicators to me said that I was like, yep, everything still seems the same way as it did in 2016. See, it feels the same way because I operated off of a highly scientific sense of like just intuition based on what I was seeing, and I was seeing a lot of the same indicators, and I guess the indicators were wrong. I guess I was wrong. So we're gonna find out what a Kamala Harris presidency is gonna look like. Joking, kinda, maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. Here we are at SeaTac. Well, there's a 20-year retrospective. You know? I wish I was further along in life. I wish that I had an actual career doing something that wasn't awful. I wish that the Rona had never happened. I wish that everyone hadn't torn the country to pieces a few months ago. Oh yeah, the George Floyd riotings started on my birthday. So yeah. All right, I'm arriving at the arrivals. I will talk to you guys later. Bye.